Hey everybody, clearing. That didn't glint. There we go, clearing. All right, so today on the shuffle, what I'm getting is to pull cards for what's affecting the twin dynamic right now from the feminine and masculine polarity. So let's see what we get for the divine feminines at this time. Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. So divine feminines, you're being guided to put yourself in your DM's shoes right now. Not what you think they would do, but I'm clearly getting to imagine yourself in their position doing exactly what they're doing, but through the lens of your most accountable, responsible, ethical, loving reasons for doing exactly what you perceive your DM to be doing right now. If this is the other you, that's more accurate as to why they're doing what they're doing than any of the fear-based stories you could have. Try it. And for the masculines, we are getting failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. So divine masculines, you might be feeling like things are just effed up, I heard, and that you may never get it wrong, but don't carpet sweep it. Definitely think about, what is this thing that you have just realized you might not have had right? I just heard my whole life up till this point, masculines. That's okay. We're all stepping into a brand new way of being. So it is actually a good time to have a life review. We're coming up on the 11/11 portal where we can leave all that failure in the past. Let's get a baseline. I'm now going to pull a relationship connection spread for the masculines and feminines and see what we get through the lens of empathy and failure. So divine feminines, compassion. You're being asked to have empathy for whatever the divine masculines are going through, because they're now realizing that they got it wrong. And so there are also very loving reasons that the feminines are being asked to remember. Instead of judging the masculines unfavorably, giving the benefit of the doubt and saying, if I were in those shoes, why would I be conducting myself that way? Well-meaning reasons. That doesn't mean that it is the most high-vibing choice, but we can have empathy to say, if I was doing that, it would be because of this. Even if, it's the best we can do, it's still the best we can do. Okay, so feminines on the left, masculines on the right. Thank you, Divine Creator. What can we see for how the twins are showing up in the connection at this time? What is the connective energy? What is the challenge or point of consideration going forward? Oh, Ace of Coins, new beginnings, offers, a new cycle coming into the near future. Remember, we're looking at the recognition of mistakes and having empathy for those mistakes. At this point, we have a heart opening in the connective energy. Four of Coins is kind of hanging on to the status quo. In the reverse like this, for me, it's the safeguard on the heart opening up. It's turning open a notch. For the feminines, we have anxiety in the reverse and 9 of Coins. This is codependency. Ooh, what I just heard, feminines, is any form of blame, pointing the finger, victim, that's codependent. When we make our happiness the responsibility of someone else or their actions, that's codependent. Your anxiety about those assessments of your DM or your circumstance go hand in hand with codependency. as you begin to take full responsibility for your actions and choices and do not energetically or otherwise insist that your divine masculine has to show up, when you let go of desiring your connection to be different than it is, and you just relax, the anxiety goes away, because you're no longer trying to affect the choices of another human being. You're no longer trespassing on their sovereign responsibility, choices, actions. And you should find a relief from the anxiety when you really just surrender the need to convince or persuade your divine counterpart, or anyone for that matter, to do what you want them to do because you want them to do it. Anxiety goes away. Empathy here is coming up to allow for your interpretation of what your divine counterpart is doing or not doing to be for their reasons and not for a reason that you need to take personally about your worth, about the potentials in this relationship. When you just allow yourself to only desire true, compatible, mature, ready connection, all of a sudden you bring it all back into what is possible for you and your choices. I'm going to leave that there. What do we have for the masculines? We have Ace of Swords in the reverse, Page of Wands in the reverse, and the Emperor. So there's a deep need to go inside for internal truth, to lay down the burden, to lay down the control issues, and concede. And divine masculines, something you've been doing hasn't been working that well for you. And so you do need to go back to the drawing board. You are needing to ask for higher guidance, to not presume to have all the answers. Page of Wands for me is a deep, in the reverse like this, is a soul cry, asking the Creator for help, to see something differently, to have a blessing come in, to have a solution present. Ace of Swords is a truth, a desire to see things accurately. So if certain things the divine masculines have been pursuing or navigating are now being seen as potential failures or not life affirming, then there is a need here, a desire to go higher. This also means that in some ways divine masculines have been trying to come forward to divine feminines in certain ways that have not been successful, because we are doing a connection spread here. They've been trying certain approaches that have not been viable in these connections, haven't gotten the results that they thought they would. And so they are learning how to approach a divine feminine, I just heard. So unbeknownst to you, possibly divine feminines, your divine masculine has been trying different approaches to see what you're going to respond to and how you're going to respond. Possibly not consciously, possibly consciously. You never cease to amaze me or behave in a different way than I expect, I just heard. So divine masculines have been trying to crack the code, crack the safe code on these connections. And that may include all manner of things that they've needed to deal with in their own lives that have or have not worked according to what they expected. Okay, so divine masculines we've got, and divine feminines, we've got this new cycle starting. I'm going to pull some clarifiers to get more information. So what is this Ace of Coins for the divine masculines? Oh wow, we got a card flying out to each side. On the masculine side we got Karmic, cleanup, and on the feminine side we got Justice. both in neutral. So that can be karmic stuff on both sides. Legal matters, other relationships, financial issues, divorces, all of that here. And people pleasing, keeping up with the Joneses, expectations over here. So divine feminines, if you've got some legal, financial, or, you know, very set in stone type circumstances in your life, distance, children, work scenarios, obligations, divine masculines are beginning to look at these things as no contest. They are not in direct competitive energy with your connection anymore. They are starting to see that these things are workable. They are workarounds, that we can have a different attitude about them, and they don't become the deal breakers that they once were. Oh, and this card, the Ace of Pentacles, exactly. They don't, divine masculines currently don't assume failure in this situation any longer. Where there's a will, there's a way. They're learning that whatever this, look at all these pentacles I've got going, this Ace of Pentacles motif. Just gonna hold that up. That's my thumbnail. Oh my gosh, the poster girl, divine feminine for the new beginning. It's me right here, hello. Yeah, so divine masculines, hint, 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 it's possible. These beginnings are not only possible, but probable. The odds are stacked in the favor of this new beginning, divine masculines. Okay, I'm just gonna, wow, and you know, all the pentacles here opening up, divine feminines, all these pentacles, anyways, okay. Am I seeing cross-eyed right now? All right, divine masculines, that's a great message. What can we see for the divine feminines with this Ace of Coins? What are the divine feminines going to be understanding in the near future? Okay, we get the 3D and Temperance. Aw, inner child healing. Knight of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, more Pentacles. We see inner child healing, and we see divine level old soul healing. For me, the Temperance card is like old soul level healing, but this is also within these incarnations, our early childhood and generational things in this lifetime. So divine feminines are also seeing how nothing in the 3D is cause for alarm, and that there has been a foundation laid in the lives of each counterpart and in this union space all along because of the healing. This is a new way to look at these relationships that speaks of unity consciousness. I want to say out loud, and I don't usually say this because it's something that I use as a foundational knowledge. Romantic relationship is not synonymous with union. Public service announcement. That is not union. It's part of union energies for twin flames, but that is not the fabled union. Union is unity consciousness. Unity consciousness closes the gap, heals, harmonizes, alchemizes. That is something that is effectively happening at all times on this journey. It does not depend on the 3D. It is this way of looking at it. So a lot of divine feminines are coming into the safety. This can be root chakra healing as well. That does not fixate on the physical relationship as synonymous with union. The big picture in these connections is truly a more eternal thing. This actually is one of the game changer energies that allows for the romantic relationship to, I want to say, take root in these connections. in order for these relationships to get to that stage where the romantic connection can be experienced consistently for the long term, there must be unity consciousness about the entire journey. When we look at the journey as this unity motion in our lives, there is no place to go. It's just all part of it. And that's where you hear the romantic relationship being the icing on the cake. It is not the be-all end-all. That is not what this journey is primarily for. Although that is an incredible testament of the love. The third energy that comes through these connections and through the individuals who align with love this way is the influence of the divinity that creates peace on earth, progress, safety, nurture, protection, wisdom. It's all in alignment with that. So divine feminines use these journeys as an incredible testament of the amount of love that you are. I had it channel through in one of the private readings today that these connections are our greatest friends. Not even the counterparts, but just these connections, these experiences. That way of looking at these journeys becomes the supportive aspect. When even the person isn't physically there, these connections support us. Okay, let's get into a divine masculine check-in. So what can we see regarding how the divine masculines are thinking of these connections at this time? How are the DMs feeling on the heart space for their divine counterparts? What are they wishing at this time? What are you DMs doing that will lead you closer to the romantic connection? What is the biggest challenge? What is the spirit-guided solution for that challenge? Where are the connections going in the near future? And what else can we know? I'm being called out to use these incredible Starseed Oracle cards, so we're getting into some pretty good energetics tonight. All right, conscious mind, what can we see? Nine of Orbs and Ace of Wands. Yeah, it's getting increasingly difficult to pretend that these connections are mundane or 3D relationships. So, Nine of Orbs is that card of anxiety. We saw that turning around for the divine feminines. Divine masculines are increasingly putting the pressure on to find life purpose, fulfillment, spiritual mission, a deeper sense of purpose in the world. So Seal of Venus, elemental magic, self-love and protection. Divine masculine, self-love. When you love yourself and see yourself accurately for who you are, that's where all of your divinely given talents, gifts, essence, your uniqueness comes to the forefront, and you celebrate that. And when you are empowered that way, everything falls into place. Your niche is evident. And this Ace of Wands, this inspired way of living, you just become a celebration, a supernova of yourself expressed into the world in these most beautiful ways. But it is a time capsule. I'm getting with self-love here. Seal of Venus, ooh, that's the divine feminine as well, that your divine feminine has inspired you to rise to your potential. And as you overcome these swordsy ways of condemning yourself and talking down and berating yourself, as you begin to befriend your essence, your most essential aspects. You become a torchbearer of the cosmic stuff, the eternal stuff, the gifts of spirit, the supernatural stuff, the timeless stuff, the stuff that unites. All the rules and regulations, I want to even say the political correctness in the world falls away. You're outside of all of that when you align with the soul stuff, because it's blameless, it's abundant, it's miraculous, it's unguarded, spontaneous, immediate. But you have to get to a place of accountability, divine masculines. So divine feminines, your divine masculine is getting close to light speed. Warp speed is about to engage here because of this time capsule. When we get to a certain level of development, we do come out of our shell. We do ignite. We do start shining our light into the world more brightly. We have that glow up. So divine masculines are going through another cycle of preparation. For many, it's been holding back until they find this so that they can secure their essence going forward and not use the relationships with divine feminine as a surrogate, and also not lose themselves and become codependent. What are the divine masculines feeling on the heart space? So consciously, many divine masculines understand this connection between reaching their potential and waiting to come into these unions until they do that. What are they feeling on the heart space for their feminine? King of Wands, Master of Flames, divine masculine with the sun rising here, and the judgment, the awakening. So right now they're pulled away, focused on these things that were failures, that did not pan out the way they thought they would. But they're coming. They're on their way, divine feminines. They've got some stuff to do, to take care of, to clean up, to finalize. But they know the inevitable is only a matter of time. Merkaba matrix, light body expansion, illuminated presence. In order for the divine masculines to have this glow up into the world, they have to go through the rites of passage to process their karmic path, developmental stages, their karmic rites of passage, in order to be this shaman energy, this embodied spiritual human. What are the masculines wanting to manifest? What are they wishing for? Sage of Crystals, there is divine feminine as a counterpart in the physical. That's the romantic partner. That is a wifey energy. That is living together. That is true nurture. That's a reflection of the flame. Oh, isn't that pretty? There, I'll put it in the crystal ball. The divine feminines, high priestess, prophetic crystal ball, and in the heart space. Let's put it in the sacral. Oh my goodness, Meredith's puppet show. And the Wheel of Fortune. So they are waiting for this. I'm going to put it on the crown chakra. They're waiting for this in divine timing. And we get Andromedan Stargate, invention, innovation, scientific pursuits. Yeah. So divine masculines are aware of the connection between the things, their plates being too full by other things, and the promise of these relationships. They do see that on one layer of reality. There is competitive assessments of their reality. They see how one leads into another, not that they are choosing something over these connections. They see the rite of passage, they see the continuity, they see the eventual. What is the action the masculines are taking? Twin flames. This is quite a distance in the world, so what I'm hearing is they're not wishing, because this is the wish fulfillment card, they're not wishing to bridge the gap anymore. They're wishing to count their blessings about the whole thing, about the circumstances, about exactly the wisdom that the divine had in bringing the awareness of each counterpart to the duo. That any distance, geographic distance or emotional distance or other circumstances that create space or a journey of becoming, a challenge. These relationships contain challenges that refine us and make us our best, truest expressions. And it's because of these obstacles that we appreciate these connections so deeply. So the divine masculines are seeing all of the circumstances as benevolent. Intention, mental breakthroughs, and ideas, yeah. They are befriending the journey, beginning to work with it. What is the biggest challenge for the masculines? Knight of Pentacles. This is the foundation within. So the energetics, the shared telepathic, 5D, astral, mirroring, all of that spooky action at a distance. That's the challenge, is now integrating the history, the signs and synchronicities. It's more of, not that they don't see it, it's more of putting it and framing it in the right context now. They're making sense of the journey. Wow. Journey, exchange, transference. They are actually now allowing for the revelation of the grand love story here to be believed and embraced, so that it can be what you tell your grandchildren. I just heard. This is the redemption story that allows for counterparts to share their story with friends, family, and community as to how the heck the counterparts were able to come together in these incredibly extraordinary, unusual circumstances, many of which have remained on the down low, that are going to be coming to light. So the divine masculines are being shown by the divine, I'm hearing. The overview that makes each one of these love stories valid. They're being shown the energetic markers along the pathway of the journey that qualify these relationships that are set apart from mundane relationships. What is the solution to this challenge? Wow, here's this Nine of Swords, anxiety card in the reverse, and the cracking the code, the heart open again. So the divine is asking the divine masculines to open their hearts, put down their anxiety, and really breathe in the truth, the reality of these supernatural journeys. Emotional equilibrium, compassionate non-attachment, lunar progressor. This is the moon, the feminine, the way that the feminine has eroded the wall of the hearts of the masculines through this unconditional love, the patience, the sweetness. Oh, the sweetness. Divine masculines, let your feminine get to you. Let your adorable divine feminine, your wise divine feminine, your brave divine feminine in to your heart. It is real. What is the direction of these connections? The divine masculines, the emperors, the kings of all kings, putting down the cross. Putting down that burden, the have to go it alone energy. I got a hair on my nose. Putting it down. The pendulum here is talking about, is it time to do this? Masculines are deciding. Orion Stargate, power, authority, influence, ambition. Woo. I just felt a wave of forward motion, power, authority, influence, ambition. Divine masculines are perched on the edge of this idea that it could be go time in these connections. They're feeling it. They're feeling the growing anticipation that these connections are going to happen in their lifetimes. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Bye for now, everyone.